Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move
the AFib Show brings you stories, interviews, lifestyle coaching, and information with entirely realistic atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter, troublesome ectopic beats, and other heart rhythm disturbances.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself to the top, I'll get it. I got one life, I'ma do all to win it. I do what's right, push it till I fall. I'm slipping to get to move along, push myself to be the best. Die with no regrets, live with every breath. See my message start to spread, and I had so many dreams. Then you hit your teens, life ain't really what it seems. Try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah.
Okay, AFibbers, it's time. Let's go live with Big Northern Bear.
I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one.
This is Big Northern Bear. My channel is about people trying to overcome atrial fibrillation, but lately I've been introduced to a new health challenge. Hi guys, this is Big Northern Bear with a message.
Hi everyone, this is your friend Big Northern Bear.
Hi everyone, welcome to Big Northern Bear Battles Brain Cancer. There's the before cancer and the after cancer, and I sort of see the guy that was before cancer. It hates to sound terrible, but I feel like he's passed away, and I'm a different person. I used to run 5K every day before the diagnosis, and I was a champion powerlifter.
Yeah, we loved going camping and going to Niagara Falls for the weekend. When we did go to Europe, it was 14 of us. We did a whole big family trip. I found that's what we always loved to do.
I had a craniotomy a year ago, and it was diagnosed Friday, October the 13th, 2023. That's when I found out we had the brain tumor. I always remember when we came out home from the surgery, we had, I think, 6 or 7 pages of prescriptions. Poor Lisa's like trying to figure out how to, dose all this out to me. It took about 2 weeks to just get it down. In the family life at home, Lisa's just sadly had to take on all the duties that I did before. She's my pharmacist, she's my PSW, she's my occupational therapist, she's everything.
Sometimes I didn't really have time to cry, because when you have children too, you're always trying to tell everyone that it's okay.
I had stopped treatment, it was too hard on me, and I put myself in God's hands instead. I was of the mind that the life I have left, I'm not afraid of dying, I'm afraid of feeling every day the way I feel right now on chemo. Every day I would say, I just want today to end and see if tomorrow's better. And I realized I was saying that every single day, and it just had to stop.
I had met someone that was also going through the same journey with her partner. So she had helped me along the way to say, get everything settled at the beginning. So she told me to look at some hospice. So we had ended up just researching it. and it said respite care, and I called. They were just amazing from the very first call, and I didn't even think it was real. That I thought we've been going through this for so long, and I didn't even know they had a place like this where he could go and just, you know, I could have some time. It started from when we had the Wasaga Beach trip. He was saying maybe I should try a stay because I don't feel like I'm going to be able to go. And so at the beginning, you're kind of apprehensive. Everyone always says no one can care for your loved one as well as you can, right? So we came in, we just sat outside and talked forever. Just even talking was just amazing, like walking around, and everyone is so friendly, all the volunteers. I mean, it was like everyone truly, truly cared. He came for that week when we were in Wasaga Beach, and everything he told me, every text message, every call was, the food is amazing, the nurses' PSWs are amazing. It just made me feel I could actually go to the beach with the kids and enjoy myself. And I actually felt fine. Like I was totally fine knowing he's here, that he said they're just amazing.
I've been a YouTuber now for 3 years, and my first channel was about my heart condition that I put into remission through diet and exercise and that sort of thing. And so I was pretty familiar with YouTube when the cancer diagnosis came. I'm known as Big Northern Bear on YouTube. Both channels are YouTube partners, and they're both monetized, and I donate a share of what I make to Margaret's Place. I put my money here because they're helping my family, and I wouldn't be able to do those vlogs probably if I didn't get, you know, breaks at Margaret's Place. So, I mean, to help people who are as sick as I am, and to help people who really need help like Lisa. I don't know how long I have left ahead of me, but knowing Margaret's Place is here when she needs the break, and if I need it, it's just such a comfort to us. I appreciate all of you and all your prayers. This is your friend Big Northern Bear out. Going into the sound check, sounds good. We're good to go. Okay, it's not YouTube, it's real. Lisa, I want to say, Lisa, you have been my rock, but it has taken a heavy toll on you. Heavy and unfair, I have to say. I wouldn't be here without you today. There's no way, I know it. So, I'm so grateful to Margaret's Place for giving me back and her kids back, our energetic, joyful, happy Lisa that got lost on the weight of it all. Sorry. I knew we cried. I knew we cried. So I'm so grateful to Margaret's Place for returning her to us, because she's so wonderful when she's not burdened by all this stuff. And even just getting the breaks she gets, I mean, in between, she's still a champion. So again, thank you, Margaret's Place. And I want to thank you all for supporting Margaret's Place tonight. It means so much to families like ours. Our kids are here, and I mean, they've taken some of the load too. So thank you all for your support tonight. You really mean the world to me. I mean, you can tell how much this means to all of us. So thank you all. No, really, God, you. Thank you. Thank you. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear me. Say something in chat if you can hear me, please. I'm here with Lisa Bear, Terry Tucker, and Frankie.
Frankie.
Terry, you hear us okay?
Hear you great.
Great, okay. So that little extra intro at the beginning, I thought I'd play the old show intro just for old time's sake, and for anyone who discovered me through the AFib channel who may not be aware of my cancer situation. So I just sandwiched it all together. Some of that was filmed by Margaret's Place advertising team, and the live stuff at the table was at the annual fundraiser where we raised, I think, $150,000 more than they expected that night. So, is that about right?
I think so.
Okay. So that was an amazing thing. And so far, my channel members here have donated a total of $600 to Margaret's Place through various live streams, because from let's say 2 months ago until January 1st, 100% of all money through the channel is going to go to Margaret's Place. So I'm not keeping a dime of it. YouTube will take a little chunk and the bank will take a little chunk. So if you want most of it going to Margaret's Place, use the Buy Me a Coffee link or the QR code on the screen. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link down in the description. And if you go ahead and use that, you're going to get a little shout out on the screen like this. So anyone feeling generous and not broke after Christmas, we really appreciate your donations. So going back a year ago, Terry, you and I had a very interesting first cancer live screen together.
We certainly did. It was short. It was to the point, and you decided you wanted to have a seizure, and so we kind of cut it abruptly and left a lot of people hanging. So it was. I mean, it was great entertainment if you look at it that way. I mean, we wanted people wanted more, Danny.
Yeah, I guess you're correct. So anyway, I gotta tell you, every now and then I go watch because your face when I fell over was just priceless.
Well, you can laugh about it now, but
Yeah.
not at
Yeah,
the
we had
time.
all those people on, and they're like, "Well, what should we do?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I know he lives in Canada, but that's a pretty big territory." That it's like, I didn't have your address. I didn't have Lisa's phone number. I didn't have anything. It was
I
like,
know.
Well, all the ambulance and fire department came and they're like Lisa is just so you guys know, you might be on YouTube right now while you're rescuing them because they didn't know if I had the camera off or not.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So they were taking apart my computer because I'm down in my little studio in the basement. They had to move the whole desk and everything to carry me out because that was the first seizure and it was probably the worst one that I ever had. I was probably out for about 20 minutes, I think. So now my seizures are confined to my left arm, and which is a much bigger improvement. And my whole attitude towards them has changed. When I feel one coming on, I'm like, okay, here comes 2 minutes of suck, and then it'll be over with. So I don't fear them anymore at all. I'm at the point where I feel I can just stay home alone for a while. And Lisa's, I don't think, quite there yet. But honestly, I haven't had any alone time in almost a year because of these seizures. So I'm just craving it. I'm kind of a guy who would go camping by himself for 3-4 days just to get that alone feeling. So lots of people in the comments here. I'm throwing them on the screen. Terry, I think I made you a collaborator. I think you're able to go to the comments and put them on screen if I miss a couple.
super.
They auto come off after 7 seconds, so I better get on my glasses so I can actually read them, folks. Hi from London, UK, wishing you all Merry Christmas and a peaceful New Year. It seems like UK is one of my biggest audiences when I look at the map. UK and Australia come in pretty close. Ireland is probably third. It's really odd. So maybe it's because we're all under the same king. Meanwhile, Terry's got Emperor Trump.
Almost. Not till the end of January. He doesn't get sworn in yet. We still got President Biden. So
Yeah. So, hey guys, so there's no knowledge transfer going to happen today. It's just going to be interacting with you all because I miss you all. I miss interacting with you guys, and
Sure.
I want to keep it nice and light for the holidays. So I'm just going to ask the audience right now, were any of you here for my last live stream with Terry Tucker soon after I got the cancer? I'm curious if any of you saw that.
well, and do any of you want to admit that you were here for that? So
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, looks like Boo gave us a thumbs up there.
Boo Con, okay, yeah. So you were here, you remember that? That was kind of that didn't go how I'd planned. So what had happened is I was just starting chemotherapy, and that was my third dose that day. And bang, I was talking to you, Terry, and suddenly I felt my face just freeze up, and I was like, "Oh wow, these are really hitting me."
Yeah.
And then I went right into the seizure. And
Yeah.
then remember, I had to stop chemo for a while, and I gave it another try. And on the third day, bang, another seizure just like that. On day 3.
And that's
So
when you decided no more chemo, right? It's like I'm not doing this.
actually, I'll give you a laugh. That's not quite what did it. What did it was the next day. Oh, sorry guys, trigger warning. I was so constipated. Like unbelievable. It was literally like a boulder.
Okay.
And so I called the hospital. I called the cancer clinic, and I'm like, what can I do about this? And she's like, well, how many Senecot you taking a day? I said 2. She's like, go to 4 or 6 at night. And I'm like, you know what? The answer is just always going to be another medication. And that's what did it for me. The answer is always the same. Go on another medication. I was on over 20 at the time. I'm like, I'm done. So that was actually what made up my mind. So
Yeah, it's a balancing act with all the meds. You know, you take a med for a particular symptom or disease, and then it causes side effects, and you need to take another medication to mitigate the side effects. And it's a never ending cycle. You're just constantly like a hamster on a wheel, and so
That's
it's
what it's
not.
been like the whole time.
yeah, it's really been like that. It's even like that now after I've been off chemo and radiation a long time. So I mean, with the steroids, still causing me problems. They give me skin infections, so I got to take stuff for that. And you know, they kind of cause insomnia, so sometimes I need stuff for that. So just never done. Yeah. Anyway, anyone got any questions? I'm here with Terry Tucker. He's also a true cancer warrior. Terry came on as a motivational speaker, and when I got my diagnosis, he's the first guy I sent a message to, and he was like, "Oh shit, phone me." So I phoned him, like no hesitation at all. I called him, and he got me through the day. So always grateful to that, and we've kept in touch since. We're always usually on the weekends checking in. How'd your chemo go for the week? Kind of thing, right? Sorry.
Yeah, it's a heck of a topic, right? You know, it's not like, hey, did you see the ball game? It was like, hey, how'd your chemo go for that week? You know, it's like, are you still constipated? Are you still throwing up?
How's your drug habit?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's nice you guys have each other.
So
Well,
Terry, tell us a little bit about your life before cancer, please.
oh gosh, I mean, I'm old, so that could take a few minutes. But so when I graduated from college, I moved home to find a job. I'm really going to date myself now, but this was long before the internet was available to help people find employment. Fortunately, I found that first job in the corporate headquarters of Wendy's International, the hamburger chain, in their marketing department. That was the good news. The bad news was I ended up living with my parents for the next 3.5 years as I helped my mother care for my father and my grandmother, who were both dying of different forms of cancer. After Wendy's, I went to work for the hospital that cared for my father and my grandmother. And then at 37 years old, I finally followed my dream and got into law enforcement and spent a number of years as a police officer. Part of what I did during that experience was I was a SWAT hostage negotiator. After that, I started a school security consulting business. I coach girls' high school basketball. But for the last almost 13 years now, I've been dealing with what I was told in 2012 was terminal cancer, that I would be dead in 2 years, and thought, well, you gave me a death sentence. maybe I can try to turn that death sentence into a life sentence and force.
Terry, you never do what you're told.
I never do what I'm told. My mother would tell you that, so never do what I'm told. So I have been very lucky. I am still being treated for active cancer, tumors in my lungs. I had my left leg amputated during the COVID pandemic, had my foot amputated first in 2018. So this has just been, like you, Danny, a constant battle. You're just fighting every single day to find meaning in the misery that we go through. And I think that's a big part. You and I have talked about this before, finding that meaning. There's a reason that these things happen. They're not just happenstance. There's a reason that we're going through this, and finding that reason and being able to live it, I think, gives us purpose.
Yeah, I think you're right. I feel like I've been granted the time from my diagnosis until whenever, because there's a job to do. And part of it is just spreading the news on YouTube. I really feel that way. So
yeah, and that's important. And I remember years ago I heard a Native American Blackfoot proverb, and it goes like this: when you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life in such a way so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for.
yeah,
That's nice.
like me, these videos are going to be my legacy.
Yeah.
So while I have stepkids, I don't have kids of my own. So I want to leave my mark on the world. And so Google better not go bankrupt after I go, because there will go my legacy.
You just come back and haunt them if that happens, So
Right. So yeah, I'm sure, like, your channel is primarily focused on motivational stories and examples, and it's a very good channel to follow. So check out Motivational Check, people, for Terry Tucker. If you like to start your day with a positive thought, get him on Facebook, because he's got one up every day. He's like the most consistent guy ever. So someone's asking about my steroid taper. My next MRI was actually last week. I didn't talk about it. I get the results January 2nd, and I might take a couple of days to process before I update you all, but that's when I get the results. So I was a little disappointed they moved up the schedule, because I didn't want to think about it during Christmas. But at least now we'll find out what's going on, because I was tapering hard on the steroids, and then suddenly my left hand and left leg stopped working, and I was falling all over the place. And my left leg's mostly come back, but my left hand is completely useless. So I've been learning how to try to do stuff with one hand, because it's showing no sign of coming back. So that's why I have this. I have these aids that I use for my job. I've got this. I bought this stream thing where you can program the buttons. So the stuff that I have to type a lot, I have programmed in, like my email address. I just push the button, it types the email address. And then I have 3 foot pedals on the floor, because I one finger type with my right hand. And the very left pedal is my shift key. Or sorry, the middle pedal is my shift key, and the left pedal is my left control button on the keyboard. And my right pedal starts and stops my voice dictation. And then I use Grammarly to clean it up after I voice dictate, because anyone who's dependent on voice dictation realizes just how crappy it is. It's always getting words wrong. So it's really nice to back it up with a built-in AI that cleans up the grammar with a simple right click. And between that, I'm able to do my job, and no one at work's noticed that my speeds and efficiency is down at all. So I'm a big fan of technology solutions, but that's how the taper is going. So I went into Margaret's place. I'm like, I'm here surrounded by nurses. I'm going to taper down hard. Turned out to be a big mistake. I shouldn't have done that. So I'm right back to where I started, at 8 milligrams a day, because the doctor said go back to 8. Maybe you'll get your stuff back, but stay there until we go over your MRI with you. So we're going to stay there until then and go from there. Because what people don't realize is once you've had brain radiation, it like changes your brain. You can get what's called necrosis, where brain tissue dies or swells up, and that can occur. Usually it's between 6 months and 2 years after it stops. So it's sort of ongoing. So my last few MRIs show that that's process is going on, even though they showed no cancer. But the brain damage itself from the radiation is still carrying forward a bit. So my brain is a moving target, and so is my dexamethasone dose. So that might be a bigger answer than you're looking for. But that's the whole story with that. So, and while I'm talking about dexamethasone, I got a bone to pick because someone always tells me this: the keto for cancer and carnivore for cancer crowd, especially when it comes to brain tumors. Some of these doctors need to shut the fuck up, because if they were actually oncologists, they would realize that brain cancer patients, almost 100% of us are on dexamethasone. And when you're on dexamethasone, you can't make ketones. So if you go on a ketogenic diet, your brain won't get any fuel, which is probably the worst fucking thing to happen if you have brain cancer and you're dealing with brain fog. Now you're not getting sugar to your brain or ketones. So, I mean, I've never heard one of these carnivore doctors talking about brain cancer and even mention dexamethasone that 95% of us end up on, because it's one of the few steroids that actually enter the brain. So, and it really, I can't make ketones even on a small dose of this. So I think I'm going to put that disclaimer out, since the experts have been completely unaware of it. So that's my big bone to pick with the carnivore for cancer crowd. That's great. It depends on what medication you're on. It might work great for you as a general health thing, but if you're on a steroid, it just doesn't work. It interferes with the whole process. So you've been warned. You heard it here. So that's your only knowledge dump today. But it really bothers me, because I know people come to my channel passionately believing they have the cure for me with this. But this is the thing. I mean, I'm forever trying to explain it. So I'll take the opportunity now and just say that much. And
Corey said, well said.
Yeah. Thanks, Corey. Yeah, it's just the truth, man. I mean, I hear a lot of BS from some of these doctors. I'm going to rant a bit, okay? Like the whole thing about, drug companies aren't studying metabolic pathways for cancer is absolute bullshit. If you go to PubMed, you have to ignore the 13,000 studies that are there on metabolic treatment for cancer in order to say that. There's been 13,000 studies. They're all published on PubMed. So, I mean, 10 years ago, metabolic treatments for cancer were the rage. It was the latest thing. Everyone was trying it in the medical community. So now it's all the mRNA targeted immunotherapy, right? Monoclonal antibodies and that stuff. So CAR T cell. I don't know. Did anyone talk to you about any of that, Terry?
Yeah, actually, if the medication that I'm currently on stops working, I just spoke with my oncologist a week before last, and there's a procedure called TIL. It's an acronym. I think the T stands for T cell in some way.
Stands for $1 trillion.
Yeah. But it basically is similar, and I want to underline that word, similar, to a bone marrow transplant, where they harvest part of your tumor, they grow your own T cells to the point where they want about 99 billion T cells of yours. Then they wipe out most of your immune system, not your entire immune system, with high dose chemotherapy, and then give you your T cells back as part of the treatment. And from what I understand, there's about right now 30% success rate for that. And if you are one of those people that it's successful for, you're cured. There's nothing else. There's no more radiation or chemo or any kind of experimental medication. And now they're trying to supplement that and try to get a higher cure rate by adding these Keytrudas and ipilimumab and things like that to that. So you would go through that, and then you would have a dose of these biologic medications to try to get an even higher success rate.
Wow.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. I read, I'm not going to say read, but it was an audio book I got quite a while ago, and it was meant for how the immune system works. And I was really interested in that. And they got into the future of cancer treatment using immunotherapy. So 10 years later, here we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I'm on a clinical trial drug now that does nothing to the cancer. But the way cancer proliferates in the body is it secretes an enzyme or a protein that hides it from your immune system. And what this drug does for me, goes in, it wipes out that enzyme, it wipes out that protein so that my own immune system, just like if you had a cold or a flu virus, your immune system says, hey, that doesn't belong here, we need to attack it. It's actually my immune system, with the aid of this drug, basically unmasking the cancer from my system, saying, hey, this doesn't belong here, and we need to keep this in check. And it's kept my tumors in check for the last 4 years now.
Right.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's like a cancer's camouflage, and it goes after the camouflage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the annoying thing for me is that I don't imagine I'll ever get in a clinical trial because my cancer is so rare. My type of tumor is so rare. So
You never know. I mean, I have a very rare form of melanoma, and I got into this trial, so you never know.
It's good to hear, yeah. Hey, there's my friend Scenario Frankenstein. I knew you'd show up. So glad to see you. Yeah, so there's also a new type that it's not the T cell type, it's called monoclonal antibodies. And these guys had developed it for COVID, and were having like a 90% cure rate on COVID. And for some reason, no one funded them. They went with the vaccines instead. So now they switched to cancer. So hopefully they have a similar success rate. Because like you said, now your T cells are trained on that cancer. And so you're going to have those T cells the rest of your life.
Right.
So unless the cancer metamorphosizes or evolves, it's always going to find it, right? So
it is, and I guess, I mean, to kind of keep it in perspective for the audience, and this is what my oncologist told me. We can only see, the medical community can only see a tumor the size roughly of a garden pea, and that's about 1 billion cells, just to put it in perspective of how big of a tumor we're talking about. So, a pea is about 1 billion cells, and they're looking to grow enough of our T cells to get it to the point where it's about 99 billion cells, and then put that back into your body in the hopes that it kills your disease. And like you say, you've got those for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very encouraging to hear. Like 30% is massive in the cancer research community. 30% cure rate is massive. Like temozolomide took $1 billion to bring to market, and it extends life by about 20%. And that was considered a miracle at the time. So 30% cure is amazing. Like, that's a true miracle right there. So hopefully it works on brain cancer.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
getting across the blood-brain barrier is obviously something that you know more about. I mean, my tumors are in my lungs. It's easier, I guess, to get to them, so to speak, from medication point of view. Yours have to cross the blood-brain barrier, which
Well, the
is
T
much more
cells would have
difficult.
no problem doing that because they're just in your blood, right?
Yeah,
They're basically similar to your white blood cells. So
right.
nice to see you too, Lisa Bear. Nice to meet you. Yeah, Lisa's always watching. She sees your name. Sees your name a lot. Sorry for the voice, folks. They haven't taken this thing off my vocal cords yet. The doctor went AWOL, so Lord knows when they're taking it off. Hopefully
It's
soon.
supposed to be back January 5th, but we don't know.
Thanks for feeling the love. Thanks, folks. Frankie's here with us. Frankie, my therapy dog. He sleeps with me every night in a big recliner chair.
Yeah.
Because a normal bed hurts my back to sleep in. So
Is your shadow.
every night he's in my lap. If I have a seizure, he's like my alarm.
Yeah. If something's wrong, like you can't get the blanket up, he comes up to the room, whines at the door, and then I come back down and put the blanket on. It's so funny. Right?
Yeah. I didn't know he did that.
Yeah.
So
That
now
dog needs more kibbles and bits. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'll stop texting you now instead. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, like I said, 100% of any super chats or buy me a coffees are going to Margaret's place. We took really good care of me for 2 months. So we appreciate anyone dropping whatever money you have left from Christmas. Well, happy to take it all.
Whatever money. Nobody has money.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, whatever the amount of the first donation is, I'll double it myself. So someone get in there.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Oh yeah, they have a dog, Frankie, too. I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, Frankie's really helped keep me calm. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as the AFib guys, I know a lot of you follow me from my AFib channel. So I just had the 3-day Holter monitor not long ago, and I got my best score ever. And I was talking to my cardiologist. I'm like, can you believe in all this shit I've been through? I haven't had a single AFib episode. He's like, yeah, I thought for sure you'd be having them all over the place. So there's my mom there. Hi, Mom. Merry Christmas.
Hi.
Yeah, I thought for sure I'd be having AFib all over. But so all the shit on the old channel, I'm not gonna call it the old channel. I just don't have a lot of time for new videos for it. But then all that stuff I did, it's really been working, like long term. So you can count on the advice there being fairly decent. Okay, Terry. So they found yours in your foot, right? As part of playing basketball, your foot was bothering you.
Yeah, I was a girls' high school basketball coach when we lived in Texas, and I had a callus break open on the bottom of my left foot, right below my third toe. And initially didn't think much of it because as a coach, you're on your feet a lot. But after a few weeks of it not healing, I went to see a podiatrist, a foot doctor friend of mine. And he took an x-ray and he said, Terry, I think you have a cyst in there and I can cut it out. And he did. And he showed it to me. It was just a little gelatin sac with some white fat in it, no dark spots, no blood, nothing that gave either one of us concern. But fortunately or unfortunately, he sent it off to pathology to have it looked at. And then 2 weeks later, I get the call from him. And as I mentioned, he's a friend of mine. And the more difficulty he's having explaining to me what's going on, the more frightened I am becoming. Until finally, he just laid it out for me. He said, Terry, I've been a doctor for 25 years, and I have never seen the form of cancer you have. You have an incredibly rare form of melanoma. And most people think of melanoma as too much exposure to the sun affects the melon, the pigment in our skin. Mine has nothing to do with sun exposure. It's a rare form that appears on the bottom of the feet or the palms of the hands.
Not a
And
lot of sun exposure at the bottom of the feet.
yeah, I was never, when I was a kid, laying out with my feet up in the air, trying to tan the bottom of my feet. Never did that. But that was, again, when I'm old enough to remember, when you had acne as a kid, you would go to the dermatologist and they would put you under a sun lamp. They would radiate the pimples on your face and back and things like that. And they don't do that anymore. They realize how bad that is for you. So just in my lifetime, how much technology has moved forward to the point where, yeah, that's not helping, that's hurting people. Not that that had anything to do with my cancer. And the other thing I'll say about this is back in 2019, I had all 88 genes tested that doctors either know of or suspect cause every form of cancer that we know: brain cancer, lung cancer, colon cancer, everything. And I have no mutations in any of my genes that would predispose me to any form of cancer, which certainly begs the question, why did I get this incredibly rare form? Nobody's ever been able to answer that question, but it's not something I spend a lot of time worrying about. I've got it, and I have to do the best I can to live with it.
Wow. Rare, like yours.
Yeah. It's did you feel like it was unfair at the time?
Honestly, and I mean, you're looking at me now. There's no S on my chest. I do not have a cape and fly around with magical powers. I never said why me. I mean, why not me? What makes me any more special? That I shouldn't get cancer as opposed to my neighbor next door or the person on the bus on the way to work or anything like that. It was like I look at it more, and I have a very strong faith in God. Like, use me, use my infirmity, use my malignancy to show your goodness, your power, your grace, your love, your mercy. So I look at it more like God's keeping me here because he wants to use me, not because this is anything about me.
Right. Yeah, I feel much the same way. So, as many of you know, I was an atheist for 30 years, and I felt God call me back after I got the cancer. And I think you're going to hear a lot about this. There's no atheists in foxholes, but it really wasn't like that. It was like I actually felt it. So I'm back, and I'm back in the let's say I'm back in the fold, and I'm very happy about that because that faith got me through a lot of stuff. And to my former fellow atheists, coming around to cancer channels and telling people God is bullshit is like just evil. You should really take a look in the mirror if that's how you're spending your time. Because even if you think we're wrong, you have no idea what we're dealing with. And the faith helps us, even if you think we're wrong. I mean, so where do I put my faith in the drug companies? None of them have a cure. So to me, that's like faith just as easily misspent. So I'll put my faith in God. And by doing that, I also get a moral code to live by that I agree with. So amen to that. I'm glad we have that in commentary.
I am too. I mean, this is bigger than both of us. And I think you would agree with that. And I remember when I had my leg amputated and found out these tumors in my lungs during COVID, my oncologist showed me, my CAT scan. And I don't have any medical background. I don't know how to read a CAT scan, but you can kind of look at it and be like, well, that sure doesn't look like it belongs there. I mean, I had these big tumors in my lungs. I had fluid all around the pleural spaces on the outer portion of my lungs. I was coughing up without being gross, green, bloody phlegm. And I remember looking at my doctor and saying, how was I alive? And Danny, at least I'll never forget this till the day I die. He put his head down, he shook his head no, and then he looked up at me and he said, "I don't know because you shouldn't have been." Which said to me, again, from the faith aspect, God's not done with me yet. When I die, where I die, how I die, way above my pay grade. Don't spend nearly as much time worried about the dying. Spend much more time focused on the living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, for me, I'm like I said to my boss the other day. I said, "You've been so good with all the time off you give me to recover, but I said I don't know if this is going to be my last Christmas, but I'm going to take 2, spend it only with my family and focus on that." And he was like, "I fully support that." So, I mean, he understands. I mean, who wouldn't understand that, right?
Well, I mean, a lot of people wouldn't because they're so focused on what they're trying to get out of life. And I think Danny, you and I, and Lisa as well, are focused on what we can give, not what we can get. And that's what we're doing. We're giving of our knowledge, of our unique gifts and talents. We're giving those to people in the hope that their lives will be better. And that's what's important. I think, those connections that we have in life, all the people you have on your channels, all the people that follow you and care about what's going on in your and Lisa's life and things like that. Those things are important. And social media allows us to stay on the surface. We don't go deep with people. I'm reminded of a psychology professor at the University of Chicago here in the US who does this experiment with his students. He basically gets them to go out and get on a bus. And the idea is in 3 questions to be deep with somebody. So you go out, you get on a bus, you sit down next to somebody and say, "Hey, how's it going?" "Oh, it's fine. How are you?" Question 1. Question 2, and I'm just making this up. What do you do? What do you do for a living? "Oh, I'm a doctor." "Oh, okay." Question 2. Question 3. Have you always wanted to be a doctor? "No, I grew up on a farm. I wanted to be a veterinarian, but X, Y, and Z happened." Or, "Yes, my mom was my hero and she died at 40 and she was a doctor. So I'm honoring her memory by following in her footsteps." Now you're deep with somebody. And we don't go deep with people. And I don't know how you feel, Danny. I think you feel the same way I do. Those deep connections that you and I have with nurses, with doctors, with medical assistants, with volunteers who are, who care for us when we're in treatment and things like that. Those are incredibly powerful, incredibly special, and things I think that keep us going.
And one thing we have to remember is when we're dealing with these people is they get attached to their patients, and so they have bad days too where their patient passes away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've seen that at Margaret's place where they come in and say, "I pressed a button, I need a bit of help," and they're coming in and wiping the tears from their eyes, because they have bad days too. So you got to keep that in mind. The sicker you are, the more likely the staff around you are having really bad days. So, because you're probably in a place where they're equipped to deal with it. So, something to keep in mind. Yeah. Scenario, thank you for the $50 donation. I will match it for Margaret's place.
Mm-hmm.
So that was much appreciated. Okay, what about the rest of you slackers? Come on, go search the couch cushions. There's got to be something in there.
Oh, Frank. No pressure, no pressure.
Yeah, anyway, Terry, can you show off your shirt a bit?
I can try. Let me push my wheelchair back.
Okay.
Can't get much higher, but
yeah,
I got
there we go.
my big northern bear.
Yeah. If you go to the AFib channel, you can buy a shirt and you'll get something out of it at least. I'm wearing the one Lisa had made for me on my last day of radiation.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd wear that tonight or today. So anyway, guys, we're going to cut it short. I'm starting to get tired. And the last thing you want is to see me get too tired because it stopped making sense.
Yeah.
I really stopped making sense. But it's been so good to reunite with you all. And we're going to do it again. And, you know, I got a surprise. I finally met a guy with the exact same cancer as me. Like my cancer is so rare. And so he said to me, I searched all of YouTube. You're the only one with my cancer. So we FaceTime now and then. He's going to come on. We'll do a live stream together. And I know shortly Jane in Australia and I are going to update you all on together on where we've been. She's been traveling through Europe doing her bucket list. So, I mean, she's very inspiring considering all the stuff she does after a craniotomy. Snorkeling down to like 60 feet deep and shit. It just blows me away.
Yeah.
That's at Jane Whitehead if you're looking for her channel. So, Jane, shout out to you and Jason. Good to have your friendship.
There's a few more comments if you want to put it up.
Yeah, let's throw them up. Corey Ladd.
A few more came up.
Okay.
You have to go down?
Yeah, I guess I got to scroll down. I'm out of practice, folks. Sorry. Let's get these comments up.
Oh, that's nice. I've been walking every day thanks to you.
Yeah, walking is the very best. I can't do the long walks right now, so I bought an under-desk bicycle, and that's like a low-intensity aerobic, and I'll do up to an hour a day on that, and it really helps increase my energy level. And I think that's why my AFib stayed under control, is because I'm doing that low intensity for long periods of time. So consistently. Let's see. Thank you so much. Good to see you looking well. You've been in my prayers. Thank you so much. And thank you, Terry, for the inspiration. Tanaria Frankenstein. So nice to hear you. Glad you have found a buddy to commiserate with and share notes with.
There was another one up.
Okay.
Oh, maybe it didn't come up.
It comes up a little slower here than on the YouTube app.
Oh, okay.
Show me.
Then my dad was a cancer researcher. I don't know why it didn't come up there because it was. Oh yeah, there. Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
My dad was a cancer researcher. He developed a drug combo that brought the survival rate of childhood leukemia to over 90% in the 60s. Still in use today. God bless your dad, man.
Wow, that's great.
That's amazing.
That's a great legacy to leave.
Yeah, for
Be
sure.
able to have so many people come after you.
You are rightfully proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if there's a story on him somewhere, send me a link to my email, bignorthernbear@gmail.com. I'd love to read up about that. So, Terry, thanks for being on the first return, especially the way you were treated last time. You did a great job as co-host while I was passed out on the floor.
Yeah, I was in full panic mode. Yeah, I did a heck of a job. So, you know.
Can you make the face again for me?
I think the eyes were bugging out of my head.
You just looked like sad, like I had died in front of you. You just looked
well, I didn't know. I was like, did you just have a heart attack and now you're gone? It's like, where do I send flowers? You know, no, not really.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's why I wanted to bring you back.
Thank
People have asked about you. I get the same questions about you that I get about me. If I haven't posted an update in like a month, I get these comments on an old video. Hey, are you still alive? And like you said,
you and I respond, no, we're not. Leave us alone.
No, but Jim says hi.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, everyone, I'm going to play us out with a song just like the old days. Let's see here. Thank you all. Have a wonderful new year. We'll try to come back soon.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headache stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need, what you need. We're broken, it's tragic, we're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it, and I know